Good evening, everyone. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, but if you have any questions, I've put my contact information on the right. Send me a message. I'm a full-time teacher during the day, so if you send me a message during the daytime, it's probably going to be till after the school hours until I get back to you. And again, I just want to remind you, if you are sending me information about your specific task stream folio, be really specific about the text or email that you send. Include your task stream ID number, your name, the specific subject matter that you're working in, so that I can look up the video or the portfolio and look at it specifically. Then I can usually get back to you pretty quickly. But please don't hesitate to contact me. I've seen just about all the problems that can be created through this process, and I have answers for you. So please reach out, and I'm happy to help. I think what we'll do today is talk about the two steps in this process: one, capturing video, and then two, editing video. And get you all set up to be successful on your video capture day. I think the first thing to remember is that this is just one piece of a very large package of high-stakes assessment that you're turning in. So I'm hoping you can take a little bit of the stress off from this process. There's so much more that we're looking at aside the video. That being said, it's important that we capture good video. So a couple of best practices. One, I recommend that you, as in the picture here, you put it on a tripod, you set it in an ideal place in the room, preferably in the back, that captures the kind of widest angle on the room. And then forget it. Don't try to move it around unless it's absolutely necessary. I know some classroom situations are going to require a move, but try to minimize that. The less you fiddle with it, the less that there's something that could go wrong, and the less there's on your mind in terms of process. Two, don't let anyone film it for you. That's my recommendation. It never really turns out well. The camera's never where you want it, or it's shaky. And so I would recommend set it up, make sure it's pointed where you like it, and then just leave it. Something funny happens when you bring a camera into the classroom for the first time. The kids notice it, they act different, it's a little unusual. So I would practice this. You have your phone, you could set it up and go through this once or twice, and then it becomes part of the standard kind of classroom practices, and it's not something unusual for the students in the room. And so I think that's what I would definitely recommend. Get some practice in. And then most important is clean audio. We need to be able to hear you. So speak up. If you're going to talk to small groups, don't bend down and kind of have a quiet conversation with the group that gets left off audio. And be really concise and clear. And if you need to, if a student speaks and they're quiet, repeat, say, hey, that was a great question that Susie asked. And then go ahead and repeat it, and go from there. Let me see if there's anything else I'm forgetting. I recommend you use your phones. They shoot brilliant video, really clean audio. They're easy to set up. We all have them. A couple things to keep in mind, though, when you're using your phone. Storage space is always at a premium. And so you'll notice here, if I shoot at this current setting at 4K 30 FPS, that's 170 megabytes per minute. That's a really, really large file. You're going to be over 10 gigs with that for a 55-minute class. And 720 right up here is absolutely fine in terms of quality. And if you shoot at 720, you'll be at about 2.5 gigs for that video file. There's also something called scalability. When I have to shrink this down to make it mobile, if I'm shrinking a huge file, it doesn't scale well down to a small file. So if I don't have to shrink as much, it's better. So I would definitely recommend going into your settings, going into camera, and then going in and adjusting your video settings to 720 at 30 FPS. That's plenty high quality for our purposes here. And then go ahead and record. I preach, I often get questions during this little seminar about, can I do this with any phone? Can I do this on my computer at home? And my answer always is redundancy. Try things, practice it, make sure it works, back things up. Be really careful with this. So if you want to use your PC at home to pull this off, there's no problem with that inherently. If you do it in the Mac lab at school, all of the kind of creative things that can go wrong I've seen and can give you answers for. But if you're competent with this and know how to do it, just practice once. Make sure that you can get through compressing a video and outputting the file and uploading it. And if you can do all those things, if the answer is yes to those questions, then by all means, any platform will work. So moving to editing, I'm going to show you how to do this in iMovie. So I've gone ahead and uploaded or plugged in my camera here on my phone. So you see right here my iPhone is plugged in. So I opened up iMovie like this on the machine. Okay? And then once iMovie was opened, I plugged in the camera and I clicked the import button, which is located right here. Okay? And that will open up this dialog and then dialog box, and then I will get an assortment of clips that are shown here. So I'll just select a couple smaller ones so we're not waiting too much time here, and I will get those input. It doesn't look like I have much on those, so let's just go ahead and grab this one here. So once the clips are input, I can drag them down into here. So there's three basic panes in the iMovie. This one here is your storage pane, and this is kind of like your library. This is where everything gets stored. And if you delete anything from there, you will have to import it again. So I recommend not deleting anything from here. But just to note, if you are working in the Mac Lab, each night at, I think it's 2 in the morning, there's a program called Clean Sweep, which wipes out anything that has been put onto the machine. So don't think that you can go in, leave it in iMovie, come back the next day, your video will not be there. So make sure you're saving it somewhere else or finishing this process. And so let's say I need 2 clips, and I'll bring these down like this. Or let's say I just, and this space here is your editing panel. And so from here I can delete clips, no problem, and then if I need to I could just go grab it again. But if I delete from up here, I'm gonna have to re-import it. And so here's my 33-second clip. We'll pretend it's 33 minutes, and then this is where I get to see what's going on in the clip. But to edit that down to the usable chunk that I want, all I need to do is click once, and then I can drag from either side in on the clip. So I just need to kind of narrow in on the piece of footage that I want to use, and let's say it's 10 minutes. Okay, about there, right about there. Okay, and then I can we'll grab another one, and let's say this is the 5-minute clip that I want. Okay. So I can narrow in on these 2 clips, get them to about where I want them, like that, and then I'm all set. Okay. I can watch it through right here. I can move the playhead. So the playhead is where the video will start from. So if I want to adjust this and then watch it from this point, I can just click play, and the video is going to play from that point. Okay. Once I'm satisfied with the selection that I have made, I can just go ahead and output that. So I'm going to come up here to the output button, and I'm going to click File. And this is where I have some choices to make. So once it opens up, the dialog box, you'll notice that over here it's showing you how large the file is going to be when it's finished. And so this particular file is 17.3 gigabytes. That's really big. I need to get this file under 500 megabytes. That's kind of the magic number. So I can make some adjustments here, okay, with the resolution and the quality of the file. So now I'm at 300. So I'm going to just check medium and see. So 575, that's a little too big. But if medium had come in at 480, I would have chosen that one because it's a higher quality file while still being under the minimum. So let's put it there like that, and then I can compress it. So I would create 2 files. I would create one that I'm going to upload to TaskStream that's under 500 megabytes. So that's this one right here. Okay? And then I would create one that's a high quality file that you'll be putting on the flash drive. The reason being, if for some reason the video in TaskStream the sound's not quite there, or it's just a little choppy or something, and we need to check the other video. We want to be able to go look at a higher quality version of it in that instance. So I would save one that is under the 500 megabytes. That's the one we'll upload to TestStream, and then I would save one that's a larger file, and then you can put that one on a SD card or a thumbstick, and you'll turn that in as your hard copy. So once you've done that, they'll export, and I'm not actually going to, here I'll do one just to show you. So we'll go like this, we'll export, we'll go to File, we will set to 540, low, and then I'll click Next, save it to my desktop, and then I just need to wait right here until this process completes. That's our little indicator right there, so it'll finish up in a few minutes here. And again, I just want to encourage you to practice this, build in redundancies, and then if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to look back on that number that I had put up earlier, and then just give me a call, and I'm happy to help troubleshoot any of this for you. I hope everything goes well for you, and have a wonderful night.